Hi, my name's Kevin, and I'll be taking you through the Opal-Rad training video today. So the first thing you're going to do is navigate to your Opal-Rad software, enter your login right here, and then you're going to click Login. So the first thing we're going to go through is how to shoot an X-ray. So the first thing you want to do when your software opens up is you're going to select Create New Study. Doing that is going to assign the current date and time to your patient's file. So once you do that, you will enter the patient's ID. Once you are done putting in the patient's ID, you're going to hit Tab on the keyboard or just select first name. Then it's going to query the database to find out if that patient is already in your system. If they are, they will auto fill in all the demographic information. During initial setup, you're going to want to enter your referring physician and your institution name right here as well. You'll want to enter patient ID, first name, last name, date of birth, and also the gender. Then you select Acquire, and that takes you into the acquisition side of the software. Here on the acquisition side, you have your selection of views on the left. Under spine, you can find your C-spine, L-spine, T-spine, and your sacrum. You have your AP lateral views as well as flexion extension for your cervical or your lumbar. What you're going to do is you'll select what view you want on the side and then select Acquire before you shoot the X-ray. If you label the X-ray incorrectly, all you have to do is select what it should be and select Reprocess. Under settings, you can add more rows of patients' names. That way, it's easier to find the patient you're looking for. If you need to edit a patient's information, if you misspell a name or change the date of birth on accident, all you need to do is right-click on the patient, go down to Edit, go to Edit Patient, and select it. That will open the patient's file and allow you to edit any of the demographic information. You just select Save, and it will apply it in real time. In the lower left, you have the import CD. If a patient comes in with a disc, with an MRI or X-rays, you can import those into your system. First thing you're going to do is go to Import CD. Once you click it, this will pop up. You're going to uncheck Modify Demographics, and then you're going to select the folder, which in this case would be your disk drive or a zip drive if you have it plugged in via USB drive. You'll select the drive, hit Select, and then click Import. That will begin the process, and it will let you know how many files made it and how many failed to import. If you need to burn a disk of a patient's X-rays, all you do is select CD Burn. You have these options right here, and then you'll click Start Burning, and that will start the burning process. If you need to delete a study, all you do is right-click on the patient, select Delete, and then go to Delete Study. Once you delete the study, it'll leave a red X on the corner right here. From that point, you'll click on Study at the top, go down to Purge. That will open the Purge box, which allows you to check mark the study you'd like to purge, hit Confirm, and it will be completely removed from your database. Once you hit Refresh, you can see the changes made. Now, if you need to delete an image, all you do is right-click on the study, go down to Delete, and instead of Delete Study, you go to Delete Image. It will open this box, which allows you to preview the image before deletion. In order to delete the image that you would like, you will select this red X right next to the image, and that will remove it from the study. You can select the search bar and search for patients, or sort by date of birth, patient ID, study date and time, or much more. Now on to the marking side of the software. To open the patient, just double click on the study. Once you open the study, in the upper left corner, you can see the 2020 logo. If you select that, that will open up the entire list of options. Under here you have File, Settings, View, Tools, Images, Annotations, Podiatry, Chiropractic, Veterinary, About, and Help. Chiropractic has all of your tools that you need. Under Chiropractic, you can see the vast amount of tools. This is a little bit hard to navigate, as you could imagine, having to come into this list every time. So if you go into Settings and Edit, there's some things you can do. First thing you can do is you can set up your monitor options. If you wanted, say, to have 2 monitors hooked up to your X-ray, you can do that. Have one be your main monitor and one just show X-rays on it. You just do that by selecting which display. If you would like to autosave X-rays as a JPEG, you have that option as well. All you do is come down here to JPEG Auto Export. You will find where you want to save the files, copy that location, and paste it in this lower bar. Once you hit save, every time you close out of your study, it will save JPEG copies of your images into that folder. Underneath annotation options, this is where you can change your default colors, as well as the size and thickness of your font and lines. That's down here at the bottom. There's chiropractic options, overlay config. This allows you to change the information that's on the side of the X-ray for the patient. Now for the most customizable part of the software, your markings. Underneath toolbox options, you can create your own custom toolbar of any tool in the software so you don't have to navigate all the menus trying to find it. First thing you're going to want to do is select above the thumbnails. That leaves the markings up at the top left corner for you. Next, you want to add more visible rows. That allows the software to push the thumbnails down over here. Next, you're going to want to select the tools through the list. Just double click on the tool you want. It'll add it to the list. If you don't want that tool, or you select the tool on accident, or eventually you just realize you're not using that tool anymore, you'll just double click on it and it'll remove it right off. Starting on the upper left, we have the reset image state. Now, if you use the reset image state, it doesn't do anything to your annotations. All it's going to do is change the contrast back to what it was when you first opened the X-ray. The next thing we have is the invert contrast, which is going to change your black to white and white to black. Then we have our flips and our rotates. You can flip vertically, horizontally, left and right. There's also the 1:1 scale right here, which zooms it in closer to life size. Then we have fit image to window, which zooms it all the way out. The next three here are your default left clicks. You can select one and it becomes that for the default. As you can see here, it's the magnify. Click here, now it's the zoom. and then if we click here, it becomes the pan. Now, instead of using those, there's a couple mouse shortcuts that we can show you. So the first thing I'm going to show you is if you click with both mice buttons, left and right, it becomes your pan tool, that hand to move the X-ray around. And then the scroll wheel on your mouse, if you push that in like a button and then move the mouse forward and back, that becomes your zoom as well. So you won't have to select up at the top every time you want to move the X-ray around or zoom in to get a better view. And then pushing that scroll wheel, move the mouse back to zoom it back out. You have your annotation edit mode. Clicking this makes it so you cannot select your annotations, as you can see. So you click that so that you can go ahead and start editing those annotations again. The next thing here is the do not keep annotation active. So once you draw an annotation with this active, it deselects the tool. So if you wanted to use something like draw multiple arrows, you would turn that off. So now if you wanted to draw multiple arrows, you just click that off, and then you can keep going until you select another tool, or hit escape. Escape is your best friend in this software. Next thing here is the measurement. You'll select the first point, select the second point, and it'll give you the distance between those two. You can also select the measurement and pull it off to the side. Next, we have the angle. Your first point is the center of the angle. So you'll click your first point, click your second point, and then click the third point. That gives you the angle, which allows you to move to switch sides, as well as all of our annotations in the software are dynamic. So if you deselect, you can go in and edit those annotations in real time without having to redraw the entire thing. So this allows you to zoom in on the annotation to make sure you lined it up exactly where you want. As you can see here, if it is squared, you are able to select that to move that joint. If it is the arrowed cross, then that is going to move the entire annotation. Delete the annotations, all you do is select it and hit delete on the keyboard. Next we have the cob angle. You'll click, drag, and click to mark your first point, click, drag, and click to mark your second point, and then that also allows you to move the curve. Again, this tool is also dynamic, so it can be moved in real time. These are your right-left markers. All you do is click to drop it, click to drop it. This is your text, so if you need to write anything on the X-ray, go ahead and just click this, click on the X-ray, and then type in what you need. And then once it is typed, you can also move it around the X-ray to place it wherever you need. Now we have the shutter box. This helps tremendously with the auto stitch feature, by the way. All you do is click and drag the box around what you would like, and it blacks everything else out. It does not create a duplicate image, saving you space on your hard drive. Now, if you are going to use this feature, I recommend you use this first. If you do click on the X-ray twice, it will disappear, and the only way to get it back is to right-click and delete all the annotations. So make sure to use the shutter box first. Here we have the magnify tool. You just click and drag a box onto the X-ray. It will give you the magnification in the upper left corner. You can hit plus and minus on the top of the keyboard to adjust the zoom. This is the auto window leveling. As you can see, it can get a little bit crazy. You just draw a box around what you want to see, and the software will try to adjust the contrast to help you. This can be where that reset image state feature comes in handy. Then we have the freehand shutter. I do not recommend using this tool just because, as you can see, it is hard to make it look nice, if you can call it that. So I recommend sticking with the shutter box. From here you have perfect circle. You just drop 3 points and it will give you a perfect circle and measure the distance. And as you can see, this can also be adjusted in real time. Oh, and this one's a fun one. Let me find a cervical AP. So the shutter ellipse, this is a shutter box shaped like a circle. So maybe for Halloween decorations, you might want to try this out. Okay, next up we have the bone enhance. If you select it, it gives you an option from 10 to 100. I recommend staying below 70. 70 is the highest I would go. This is what it does to the X-ray. If you're looking for a fracture, this feature would come in very handy. As you can see, the actual striations on the bone themselves. And this is the contrast enhance. As you can see, it's just one click on or off. And in this bottom row, we have views. So you can have them side by side, cut up into fours. The sky is the limit with this software. To add an image to a certain view, all you do is click the thumbnail, drag it, and drop it onto the box that you want the X-ray to show up in. Next up, we have the DICOM and paper print. Under paper print, you are able to print your images right onto a piece of paper. You can add your own header and your footer, as well as your annotations. Clicking save will allow you to save your X-ray as a DICOM file in order to put on like a USB drive for a patient. If you select export, export exports every single X-ray under that study into a folder for you to put on a zip drive for a patient. If you need to save the image as a JPEG individually, you will just right-click on the X-ray, go down to Save Image As, and click on that, which will allow you to name the X-ray, add your annotations, and click Save. For the 2020 logo, you have underneath View the option to have your overlays on, which has the patient's information. You can also hit O on the keyboard to remove it or bring it back. So don't think your patient's information disappeared, it's still there. Right here I'm using the multi-cob angle. The multi-cob angle can be used to get the cervical curve, as you can see right here. You'll select the top and bottom of C1 and the top and bottom of C7. Once you're done, it'll give you the angle. From there you hit escape to deselect the annotation. Remember, escape is your best friend. If you right click, you can go to Toolbox, which has all the tools that you added into your toolbox earlier. If we go down to Ideal Cervical Curve, when you click on the X-ray, it will drop a 45-degree angle on the X-ray. To adjust the Ideal Cervical Curve, you have the option to use the greater than and less than buttons, or period and comma, on the keyboard to adjust its angle. To adjust the size of the Ideal Cervical Curve tool, you will hit plus and minus on the top of the keyboard. To adjust the angle of the tool, you will hit the brackets. In order to change an annotation's color, what you do is you'll select the annotation, right-click on it, and go to Change Annotation Color. You can select from this list of colors. Our next tool is the Spine Options tool. You can label a spine from C1 all the way down to L5. The next tool is just your standard line. You click and drag as long as you want it, and click again to drop it. The next tool is the Mark Spot. It's just like it says. Click and it marks a spot with a dot. We'll switch to an AP lumbar here and show off the horizontal axis tool. You just click and it makes a perfectly horizontal line. So let's switch to a lateral cervical view and show off the vertical axis tool. You just click and it drops you a perfectly vertical line. You can use it in conjunction with the measurement tool to get your forward head posture. Now, I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on the exact location. I've never actually measured forward head posture, but I know it's something like this. I'm not a doctor. Next up, we have the horizontal orthogonal angle, also known as a vertical angle. You'll just click and drag, and it will give you the angle from the vertical plane. Remember to select, hit delete on the keyboard to remove the annotation. Next, we have the horizontal angle tool. You'll just click, drag, click. That will give you the angle between the 2 points. With the multi-angle tool, as you click, it continues to draw points. It will give you the angles between each point. When you are done, hit escape to deselect the tool. The next tool is the baseline angle. To use the baseline angle, follow these rules: top, bottom, front to back. When you are done, hit escape to deselect the tool. With the baseline angle, you can also move the angles. The next tool follows the same rule. It's the baseline angle orthogonal. It does the exact same thing as the baseline angle, except it gives you the opposite measurement. So make sure to follow top, bottom, front to back. When you are done, hit escape to deselect the tool. The next tool we have is the lumbar curve. The lumbar curve works by putting one point at L1 and the other point at the bottom of L5. It will show you an angle. To adjust the angle so it lines up with your patient, you'll hit plus or minus on the top of the keyboard. Once you are happy with the angle, move it to the front or the back to adjust the angle accordingly. Click when you are done. The next tool we're going to go into is the cervical curve tool. It works the exact same way as the lumbar curve. You'll select the back of C1 and then the back of C7. That will give you the angle. From there, again, you will hit plus or minus on the top of the keyboard to adjust the curve. Once you are done adjusting the curve, click on the X-ray with the angle pointing in the correct direction. That will complete the annotation. The next tool we have here is the extended line. To use the extended line, mark two locations on the X-ray. It will draw a straight line between the two, extending for the duration of the image. The next tool we have here is the Gonstead ruler. To use the Gonstead ruler, select it out of your toolbox. Click to drop it on the X-ray. From there, deselect and select the ruler. Once you select the ruler, you can drag it to the location you would like to start marking. To adjust the pitch of the ruler, use comma or period on the keyboard. Once you adjust the pitch and it is lined up correctly, to drop a line, hit the question mark key. From there, just click on the ruler to drag it down to the next location and do it all over again. Once you're done marking with the Gonstead ruler, hit delete on the keyboard to remove it from the image. The next tool we have here is the vertical level. To use the vertical level, you'll select your first point and then drag down. The dotted line is the straight line. When you click, it will give you the distance and the angle between the 2 points. The next tool works the exact same way, except for horizontal. The horizontal level allows you to get a quick hip height of a patient, just by clicking on one side and then the other. That will allow you to see the distance and the angle that they are. If you need to adjust, deselect the tool, zoom in, and make your adjustments to make sure your measurements are spot on. The next tool we have here is George's line. To use George's line, click on the top and bottom of each vertebrae on a lateral image. As you go up the back of the spine, it shows you the distances. When you're done using the George's line, just hit escape on the keyboard and it will deselect the tool and leave your annotations. One of the best features in the software, auto stitching. To use the auto stitching, click on the auto stitch button right here. To begin auto stitching, select and drag your image into the manual hints area. Once you select your second image and drop it in, the auto stitching will begin. Once you add your third image, it will also go in and try to be auto-stitched. If you need to make any minor adjustments, you can see in the overlap inspection area what is overlapping. Using the shutter box greatly improves the quality of the auto-stitch. To make your adjustments, move the image in the workspace area. When you're happy with the X-ray, click Confirm. When you click Confirm, it creates a new image in your study. As you can see, here is our stitched image. If you would like to remove the annotations but not delete them, press A on the keyboard to hide them. You can save your annotations by exiting in the upper right corner. Underneath the 2020 logo, under Settings and Save, that is the manual save feature. The 2020 imaging software auto-saves your images when you close out of the study by clicking in the upper right corner.